Hi, welcome to week 2. So this week you have 3 tasks. So you'll want to start by watching this video so you can get oriented to what we're doing. Then you will take on your first task, which is assessing communication channels. In order to do this, you will read your textbook, and your textbook reading is listed by week on this page. So you're in week 2, so you'll be reading chapters 1 and 2. Then you will want to watch Friday Night Lights. And again, we've got a page that shows which episodes you need to watch each week. So this week you'll be watching episodes 2, 3, and 4. Once you've completed that, then you'll want to come in and do this activity, which is called the message received activity. So this activity asks you to look at a specific scene in Friday Night Lights. And this is in episode 3. And starting at minute point 2740, there's a scene with Tammy and Coach Taylor, and then also their daughter is in the room for a while as well. I want you to watch that scene and use it to answer a few questions. So this says that it's a quiz, but it's actually an activity. It's just set up in quizzes. And each of your responses will be graded on how specific your responses are. So when you come in and look at it, you'll see there's a couple different questions. You can look at these questions and then watch the scene and then come in and answer them. I don't really care how many times you look at this or submit it. I will grade the final one that you've submitted. So that's that activity. The second task for this week is to analyze the steps and implications of the perception process. So that requires you to read an article called The Body Ritual of the Nasarema. This is an article you'll need to download, so you can download the PDF and read it. Then I will want you to contribute to a discussion board, just as you did last week. You'll use the PI method with an originating post by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, and the PI method in your replies by Sunday. And then I want you to complete something called a prep sheet. And a prep sheet is a way to analyze the reading that you've done for the week. So for this week, you've read 2 chapters in the book, you've watched 3 episodes of Friday Night Lights, and you've read this Nasarema article. At this point, I'd like you to take some time to synthesize that information. So again, it says that it's a quiz. It's not a quiz. It's a prep sheet. It's different. And you can take it as many times as you want. So again, you could look at these before you do your reading and take notes. You can do it however you like. So basically, I'm asking you to go through some critical thinking steps. In the first step, I want you to identify 5 facts or vocabulary words that are new to you this week. So when you're reading, when you're watching, when you're looking at the articles, what is new to you? What are ideas that are new to you? What are words that are new to you? You need to come up with 5 of those. So you would come in here, put your answers. Just make it clear to me what 5 you're talking about. Okay? And then you go to the next question. And the next question asks you to identify 4 connections you made within this week's material. So if you're struggling, there's some questions for each of these to help you. So basically, I'm asking to see, where have you seen this before? Did you study something like this in a psychology class? Have we talked about something similar last week? What connections can you make within what you're reading to other material that you've experienced or other material for the week? Maybe you see a connection between Friday Night Lights and the textbook. That's great. That's one of your connections. Point it out. Maybe you see a connection between the Nasarema article and the textbook. That's great. It's a connection. Point it out. So again, you're going to need 4 of these. Mine are really great, you can see. Then I'd like you to come up with 3 questions that you still have. So maybe as you're reading, you think, I don't really agree with that. I think da-da-da-da-da. So ask a question about that. Do we really have to paraphrase when we are perception checking? Is inference really that different from other ways of thinking? These are questions that you can ask of the material or the ideas that are presented to you. I'd like you to come up with 3 of these. Next, I'd like you to come up with 2 connections between your own life and your own self and the material. So where have you felt these ideas in your own life? What relevance do they have to your own life? Be very clear about what those 2 connections are. Maybe it's that you work in a job at a restaurant where you feel like you're treated impersonally. Maybe it's that you have also lived in Texas and know what it's like to not get into the football culture. Both of those things would be connections to yourself from the material that you're reading for the class. And then finally, I want you to think about how this material will feel to someone who might be different from you. So if someone had a different identity than you, let's say you are someone who is not a mother, and you put yourself in the shoes of a mother and say, a mother might respond to Tammy's choices differently than me because they actually have experience in parenting. That is a way to discuss how this material might feel to someone different than you. So I'd like you to make one example of that as the final part of your prep sheet. So you will need to do this many weeks this quarter. This is your first one. So please give it your best shot. It's really a great way to synthesize all of the things you're learning in class, and also to help show me that you're reading and that you are thinking about the content. So the final task for this week is to distinguish the different types of interpersonal goals. Interpersonal goals are something that we will talk about in the week 1 lecture. So you'll want to review that week 1 lecture and then complete the goals activity. This activity also asks you to look at a specific scene in episode 2 of Friday Night Lights and then assess the different goals that are going on. It looks very much like the first activity you did for this week. So you will look at the questions and the scene and answer them to the best of your ability. And then finally, we have another lecture this week. So on Friday at 10 a.m., if you're able to join us in the Blackboard Collaborate space, please do. If not, just like last week, we'll upload the link so that you can watch it later. So that is the plan for week 2. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm happy to answer them, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks.